Hey guys, Biker Brendan here. In this video, I take a 2009 CBR600RR for a test ride. I didn't actually have my microphone on me at the time though, so I'll just show you the footage of me riding it and then I'll jump back on my bike and give you a bit of a review, what I thought of it. Alright, let's go. Hey guys, Biker Brendan here. I just took the CBR for a ride. That bike is just awesome. It has got so much power, anything above like 6,000 RPM, and it just flies. Even just a small little, twist of the throttle, and that thing is moving. Compared to most of the others, apparently the CBRs are actually a little bit down on power compared to the other 600s, but like, anyone coming from a learner bike is not going to notice any difference. All of those bikes are just really fast, wicked machines. The brakes are just so responsive. With this bike, I could jump on the front brake as hard as I liked, and it'd stop, but it might take a while. With that, I wouldn't want to know what would happen if you jumped on the front brake. There's nothing like the, exhilarating rush of a super sport bike. Anyone that's thinking of buying a super sport bike, it's just so exciting. That rush of power you get. Your adrenaline kicks in. The seating position actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Being like a super sport bike, I thought it would be really uncomfortable. But really, there was a fair bit of room. It was a lot more room than the GSXR 1000 that I took for a ride. I think the pegs were a fair bit lower, so it gave you a lot more leg room. And I'm a little bit sort of a taller guy, so any little extra room is sort of needed. But no, it was actually surprisingly not that bad, especially coming from this, which is very, very upright. A lot of people say they get sort of sore hands, and I didn't ride it for that long really, but I don't know, I found that it was fairly comfortable. I reckon it would be more comfortable than like a dual sport bike. If you wanted to go for, you know, a touring ride or whatever, I prefer to take that. There's a lot less vibration, especially when you're going fast. Like this thing at 100 k's, it vibrates a lot, probably because of the tyres. But yeah, on that Super Sport, it was surprisingly really comfortable. You know, I think the worst part of owning a Super Sport would be like the temptation to go too fast, because it's 100 k's is not fun on those sort of bikes. That's just not what they're designed for. Like that bike, all you want to do is, you know, break the speed limit all the time. And if you're sitting behind a car or something, you're just not going to stay there. Like, there's a train. Yeah, like the temptation is just so great to just go fast. And like, yeah, if you're sitting behind a car, all you're going to want to do is, you know, floor it and pass it. But I mean, you know, the enjoyment factor is just so worth it. I was surprised how well it steered too. I thought it would be sort of not very nimble, but it was surprisingly, yeah, really easy to turn, easy to steer in. I think the 600s are probably a little bit easier than the 1000s, just because they're probably a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to navigate. One thing I like about the Honda, rather than a lot of the other bikes I've ridden, is that it's so smooth. The power delivery is not jerky. Like, I think if you were coming off a learner bike and you wanted, you know, you wanted more power, you wanted a Super Sport, I think the Honda would be like a good intermediate bike, only because it's sort of easy to ride. Like, I jumped on that thing and, you know, a minute in, you feel comfortable, you feel like you belong on it. And it's so glued to the road. Like, there wasn't once that I felt like it was sort of dangerous. It just sort of hugs the road. It's really smooth, easy to control, really nimble. Yeah, it's an excellent bike. Alright, well, hopefully you've enjoyed the review. This is Biker Brendan. See you guys.